Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. Axon was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with Axon, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. Axon carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley has over 33 years in the trucking business, moving ag and construction equipment across the country. For more information, go to valleytransportation.com or give Parker a call at 800-657-4910. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by a brand new sponsor that I'm pretty excited to have a part of the podcast here, Valley Transportation. And Valley Transportation is someone I've done business with for 5 years now, 6 years now since I first found them. And rarely do I have people on here that I don't find some value in that are going to, to the community of the equipment business as a whole. And I'm lucky to have Brad and Parker here from Valley Transportation to talk about, their company, what's going on. So Brad, we'll start with you first. How you doing today, man?
Good. Thanks for having us, Casey.
I appreciate that. Parker, how you doing, bud?
Excellent. Good talking to you again.
Good talking to you too, man. So, well, Brad, let's talk a little bit about Valley Transportation and what it is.
Okay. Valley started back in 1989 with 2 trucks, and I was currently running a trucking company prior to that we had about 35 trucks, and we left there and started our own company, and we've been growing it over the years. So we've been in the ag equipment business for 40 some years now. So moving ag equipment all over the U.S. So.
Yeah. And it's the one thing I like about Valley is, and compared to some of the other people that I work with, is that when I call and tell you that I need to move a combine, I get, Pete on the phone or somebody like that help me move a combine. I don't have to explain to him what a combine is. You guys already know what that is, and you can move it from point A to point B and understand what that means to do that.
Right. So, we kind of pride ourselves in not tying the customer up a long time on the phone trying to tell us what he's trying to move. So we think we try to keep up with everything that is in the industry, currently. So. And the old stuff, because we've been hauling that too. So it
right.
Seems like something comes at us different every day. So
Let's talk a little bit about what you guys do also on the construction side. I've had you guys move some wheel loaders and excavators and those kind of things as well. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we got into the construction side probably 10 years ago. We were real heavy ag, and when the ag business kind of started slowing down, we had to find something to offset that. So we've been in the construction business a strong 10 years now. We'll move anything up to cranes and dozers and scrapers, and, you name it. We can haul up to about 140,000 pounds. So we got a pretty good array there.
Right. And as far as the number of trucks you guys have out there running around right now, that number seems to grow every time that I talk to you. So talk about your fleet a little bit.
Yeah. We're crowding, we'll be over 200 this year on the road. So we got about 40 in the heavy haul fleet. We got close to 20 in just a local area here in the tri-state region. So we haul a lot to dealerships just out of Waterloo and in the local area. Davenport and Dubuque in that area. So, the rest of them are all over the road guys doing all kinds of different types of equipment. We do a lot of backhaul stuff, used equipment, so if you got stuff out and about that you need brought back in, or, we got trucks pretty well everywhere, every day. So.
Yep. Now, Parker, why don't you talk a little bit about what your role is with Valley and what you're doing there?
Absolutely, yeah. So I've been here for, I'm on my 11th year now, and I started as a broker and kind of moved my way up to being a CSM. So what I do is I take all the incoming phone calls and deal with our customers that are current and new. So give me a call and I can give you a price, what it's going to cost or what it's going to take to get any of your stuff moved from A to B.
Yeah. And you guys are nationwide, right? All lower 48. You guys go up into Canada and that kind of stuff?
Our trucks don't go to Canada, but I got companies that I deal with that can get our stuff in and out of Canada.
Gotcha.
So that's not an issue. I got contacts for that as well.
Right on. Good deal. Well, let's spend a little time here talking about what you guys see happening out there. It seems like logistics is it's just a nightmare right now, along with everything else that's out there. Whether we're waiting on parts or this, that, other thing. Logistical challenges are popping up, and a lot like the dealership business, the guys that are running those trucks are aging. So I guess as you take a look at what's going on right now, what are some of the big hurdles that you guys are trying to overcome right now?
Well, the aging driver pool is one of the most significant ones. With the new infrastructure bill, they passed a new rule that we're going to be able to train 18-year-olds to run across the state lines. It's pretty aggressive training, so it's going to take a lot to get those guys to be capable of doing that. But at least we get our hands on them, maybe out of high school instead of waiting and losing them to a different market down the road. So it's something that we hope is going to help. We'll at least get to attempt to get those guys moving first, and into a industry that they don't walk away from and leave, finding new avenues and new things until they're 21. So I think that'll be a big thing. Parts shortages are terrible right now. We got trucks down all over, sensors and things like that are causing us a lot of grief. So, with the COVID, it just took a lot of the drivers out of the workforce, so they just went home and stayed there. So we're fighting that battle too.
One thing I've noticed about the younger generations coming in is that there's a large swath of the kids that are coming out of high school right now that are hungry to go to work, but not necessarily go to college, right? And I think we're starting to see the rebirth of kind of those apprenticeship programs, that were kind of big when I was in high school. You'd go to get out of high school, you had some opportunities to go to be like an electrician or a carpenter or something like that and go through some apprenticeship programs. We're starting to see a lot of the skilled labor, truck driving, like you just talked about. Looks like there's starting to be some of that apprenticeship style kind of approach to getting these kids back into the industry.
Yeah, for sure. I think we moved away from that for a long period of time, and the effects are starting to show. So yeah. We're happy to see some of that coming back, where maybe some of these kids are thinking about going to work and getting out into a field right away.
Yep. Yeah, we're starting to see that, on the technician side as well. I mean, we're seeing more kids that are kind of shying away, even going through the community college process, as much as they just want to go to work, start getting some money in their pocket.
And sometimes you build a better person, I think, by just letting him get in there and get his hands dirty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Parker, what is some of the stuff that you've seen on your end that are maybe some snags that people should look out for when they're calling you about booking freight?
Yeah, so like the supply chain thing, there's a few manufacturers that we haul for out in California that we, once in a while, everything's scheduled to load on whatever day. Well, you might find the day before that one part didn't come in and you might be waiting a few weeks. So that is one of the things, but right now, the weather with winter coming and stuff like that, stuff to be prepared for ahead of time is, you know, depending on where it's coming from, if it's in the northern part of the country, weather could start playing a factor.
Yeah.
Road closures and different stuff like that, and holidays as well. Get a lot of drivers wanting to go home and stuff. So, and then travel restrictions around holidays.
Right.
But so that's one thing to keep in mind if you want to get some stuff moved, you know, towards the end of the year here.
Yep. Are you seeing any kind of like lead times that people should start being aware of? For example, you know, if it used to take 2 or 3 days to get something from, you know, the middle of the country to one of the coasts, now it might take 4 or 5 days to make that happen.
Yeah, it could. We've kind of caught up the last few weeks here, it seems like. Before that, though, like around harvest and before harvest, when everybody was trying to get equipment, you know,
right,
for the field, it was looking, you know, 2 to 3 weeks sometimes here and there. But it obviously depends on where it's coming from. You know, the Midwest, there's so much freight. It's not getting picked up as fast because the amount of trucks compared to the amount of loads there are. When there's a lot fewer trucks than there is freight, you know, that kind of backs stuff up.
Right. So I'll throw this question out to both of you, and either one of you can answer this. But we start taking a look at the container situation in, especially on the West Coast, and on the East Coast too, I guess to some extent, but primarily the West Coast. Is that tying up a lot of trucks right now, getting those containers in and out of those ports, and the availability of driver pool and those kind of thing that we see out there? Is that causing some havoc with getting stuff booked?
Yeah, you know, it's definitely
containers, but you know, with the construction and ag equipment coming out, it's you know, it hasn't changed a whole lot. But I haven't really looked at the container side of it. Have you, Brad?
You know, I'm keeping my eye on it. It's you know, a lot of that container issue was caused by California with some of their new rules, you know, so a lot of that was self-inflicted pain. You know, they shut off all the owner operators going in there. They you know, the carb deal, they shut down. You got to have all new equipment to get in and out of there. And let's face it, a lot of those trucks running those containers in and out of there were old 1999 models, you know, and they shut them all down. So I think they'll get back to where they're getting caught up, but it sure was, you know, it was the perfect storm with all the COVID stuff, and then everything started showing up all at once, and they weren't prepared for it at all. So definitely, you know, the supply chain and the parts and things like that, everything we're waiting on is probably sitting out there, you know, so.
Right. Yeah.
It's causing a lot of havoc.
Yeah. I watched those videos out there, and it's just as far as you can see in any direction, there's just ships out there floating around, and you got to believe that there's half the world's stuff sitting out there on those ships. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, Parker talked about us getting caught up here recently in the last few weeks. That was strictly caused by the John Deere strike. Right. If that strike would have never happened, we would have never got caught up. And there's a lot of trucking companies out there that are still not caught up. So, you know, and we're seeing it come back in now, and things are picking back up. So, you know, for moving your iron and getting your stuff to you, give it as much advance notice to your carriers as you can, because they're gonna be out there a ways, I think.
So that leads me to my last question here from Parker. We'll start with you from the freight side here and the booking side. As you start to take a look at the remainder of 21 and start looking into 22, you know, there's not a lot on the horizon that shows that 22 is going to be a whole lot different than what 2021 was. I guess as you take a look moving into 22, what are some of your thoughts and concerns moving into 22?
From what I see, I think it'll be very similar to 2021. I think it's going to be really busy. I think people are going to be buying equipment if they can get it. And then if equipment starts getting all these chips and stuff that they're waiting for, I think the the used stuff might slow down a little bit. I'm not sure on that. That's just, kind of my perspective on it, I guess. But I think it's going to be another great year, I think.
Yep. Brad, what are some of your thoughts on that?
I was just reading an article here this morning before we started, and the two major truck manufacturers, Daimler, Chrysler, and PACCAR, they're everything's on allocation, and they shut their build schedules way back because of parts and demand. So, we got allocated trucks. We had a bunch on order for next year. We're only getting a small percentage of what we had on order. That's gonna start creating issues, on the trucking side too. There's already no trucks out there to be had to buy. Every dealership's empty, just like your car manufacturers or your car lots. So if we don't get this thing corrected, things are gonna keep going. Prices are gonna keep going up, I'm afraid. So
Yeah.
with fuel the way it is and demand the way it is, and everything we touch has increased in value.
Yep.
It's not just health insurance and insurances. It's every part you touch, is just way higher. Tires and oil. You can't even hardly get oil anymore. It's like, so it's going to be challenging for keeping everything moving.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges out there right now, and you hit on it, man. It's everything from steel surcharges to, just scarcity of material, and those kind of things are driving up prices. And it's amazing. We were looking at an auger the other day. It was a good example of that. Well, a year ago, we sold an auger for, I don't remember the number. It was 30-some thousand, and this year, we're talking 9 months ago, and it jumped $11,000 in price. So it's just one of those things where nothing changed. It's the exact same specs. Nothing about it's different. It's just steel surcharges and various other price increases and those kind of things along the way that raise it up that much. So, like a 33% increase, 40% increase in price.
Right. I'm selling some of my old 2017 model tractors. We did get a bunch of new ones in here, so we're selling some of those older ones, and the price on the older ones are almost what I gave for them back then. So it's ridiculous what these prices are doing. And we had surcharges coming in on our new trucks of $8,000, $8,600 a truck. Just in surcharges, and you can't battle them because you just say, well, what if I don't pay it? And they said, well, we got guys that will. We can sell them to somebody else.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, the old try to beat somebody up on the price thing is not even part of the vernacular anymore.
No, you don't even want to talk about it anymore. So.
No, it is what it is.
No, you just kind of take what you get.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, guys, I'm excited about this partnership. I mean, if there's any one company that I work with that I find it's the easiest to work with, it's Valley Transportation. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the Moving Iron podcast.
Thanks, Casey. We appreciate it.
So what's the best way to get a hold of you guys if they want to book some freight, Parker?
Just give me a call at 800-657-4910. Or you could shoot me an email at pjohnson@valleytransinc.com.
Right on. Good deal. Well, guys, I appreciate it and look forward to doing this again.
All right. Thanks, Casey.
You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let Axon worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. Axon has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of Axon, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an Axon dealer, head over to axontire.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley has over 33 years in the trucking business, moving ag and construction equipment across the country. For more information, go to valleytransportation.com or give Parker a call at 800-657-4910. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
Moving iron in the 21st century.